You just landed a couple of hours ago.
I did.
God, no, any jet lag as yet?
Not yet.
No.
You know, you catch it now, tomorrow,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do the show so well.
Faye, the cheekbones are amazing.
Yes.
I mean, you know, when I've seen them on the screen, never ever seen them in 3 dimensions.
Oh, you're staring at me.
I'm staring at them.
I
for
can't
real.
take responsibility. It's my mother.
Was it your mother?
We were going to
Oh,
ask
yeah.
you, actually, was it which side of the family was
My
it? But
mother. We have very similar bone structure.
actually, I've seen photographs of your grandmother as well, the one you
Yes.
call Oma.
Oma,
Oh,
exactly.
There's your mother,
She
look.
looks- there's your mother, yeah.
God, you are actually...
There she is, you see what
Yeah.
I mean? Oh, it's a beautiful shot of her.
How old was she there, do you think, when that was taken?
She was, I would think, mid-20s.
Mid-20s,
you know? Yeah,
yeah.
I was born when she was 19.
Right.
So.
You had the most extraordinary, talking about these days, the most extraordinary background. You were born in to a dirt poor family, literally, in Florida, in the Panhandle.
Yes.
Your mother got married when she was very young, didn't she?
She did 18, and I was born when she was 19.
19.
And not a cent to rub together? In the
And
early
not
days.
what?
Not a cent to rub together. I was
Not
going to say
too
penny,
much,
but-
no. Very,
Yeah.
you know, poor farmers. Interesting farmers. Her father was a teacher, and I think he was a preacher at one point, and he was terribly intellectual for North Florida, but he was also quite dramatic. I think some of the flair comes from him.
Really?
Yeah.
What gave you the drive then, do you think? Was it the poverty? Did that give you the drive to get out and to achieve?
No, I think it came from my opa. I think it
Who?
came from him.
Grandfather.
That's what we
Oh,
call
Opa.
him.
Okay, Opa.
Grandfather, Opa. Because I think his grandparents came over from Germany, and my grandmother, whom we called Oma, was Irish. But my mother got a pretty strong dose of it too. There was just a kind of grit and determination about the people I come from.
Well, the
and I
immigrants
think
had that, didn't they? The European immigrants, they had that. They had to have that.
Yeah,
And
very much
that
so.
explains the
you
bone
know.
structure as well.
It does, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
exactly.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, I think the being poor had a lot to do with it. You know, I wonder, my son is really a child of some privilege.
Yes.
You know, I mean, privilege is a qualitative kind of thing, though, because
It brings
you know,
its curses.
Well, you know, I mean, how can you determine what's a privilege and what's not? You know, I mean, maybe he's got pain that I don't know about, or you know, but on one level, he's more privileged than I was. So you wonder, how do you teach that person, you know, in the same way that I.
The values.
He's watching now, so I'm
Is
a
he?
bit nervous.
Don't worry.
I mean, no, not so much values, but if you do come from a background where you really had to work hard to get anything, you know, and that's in your bones, and you know, then that's who you are.
Yeah, and your mother was extraordinary. When you went to school, she virtually went to school with you. She went back to high school.
She did, you're right.
She used to write, and you'd do your homework together on the kitchen tables.
Yeah,
you don't. I mean, you don't owe so much to your father, who left the family when you were 13. Although, in an odd kind of way, maybe you do, because you've said before that maybe your whole quest as an actress is to find a father figure.
You know, you've read the book that I wrote, which is lovely of you. I'm so impressed that you know so much about it. But yes, I realized it during the writing of that book. I thought, you know something? Part of the instinct that I've had all these years to work so hard and to do so well was tied in with getting, you know, with him leaving and wanting him back.
What do you mean,
and whatnot.
if you did well, maybe you got straight A's at school, because you left when you were 13, as Judy said, that maybe he, in that childish way that children have, that he might come back if
Yes,
you
there's
achieved.
an omnipotence that children feel. It's all my fault, or if only I could think of something to do, then it would be better.
Yeah.
Then I could make it all right. You know, it's unfair, but it comes into our minds because we can't. There was nothing I could ever have done there. But yes, that did go through my mind, I think, and influenced my actions.
Well, do you think that was at the root of, you had 2 marriages which failed, and a number of relationships which obviously didn't last. Was that possibly the root of it too, that you were looking for a father figure? And that obviously that's a huge pressure on a man unless he wants to take that role on.
No, I don't think I was.
No.
I really don't. I mean, having said that, you know, of course there's something in that. I mean, I think any little girl, in a sense, looks for her father, whether it was a wonderful father or the father that was absent or whatever. You know, there is that connection between, I guess, girls and fathers and boys and mothers, or, you know, I mean, and we also have connections too. It happens. That's why Freud was a genius, I suppose. You know, there isn't any doubt. I
Flawed
mean,
genius. He wasn't right all the time.
well, no, yeah, I'm not saying that, but he did make some very interesting discoveries. A lot has been done since then as well. But I think, gosh, it's just very hard, I think, to commit to someone, to commit, I mean, and I regret it deeply. I regret that now I don't have a 50-year marriage to say, well, you know, we've weathered some stuff and we're still together. I mean, I envy it. You two have.
We've not been married 50 years
Quite
today, I'm
50
sorry.
years,
I hope we still
but
are.
it's something that's really quite wonderful to have that sort of commitment and ability to commit. You know, both marriages had different things that didn't work in the end, and you know, you tried the best you could. I wouldn't simplify it by just saying it was the father thing, but it's hard to do a career and
Yes, we know.
you know, in a marriage, and
You
there's
were-
specifics about each marriage.
You are a perfectionist, though, and have
I
the
admit
reputation
it.
of being so, absolutely. And in fact, the film which made you mega famous worldwide was Bonnie and Clyde, which you made with Warren Beatty. And we call him Beatty, but you call him Beatty over there.
Beatty,
I get
yes.
it right. We've got a little clip. Should we have a look at it? We're talking about
Warren's
perfectionists.
great.
Warren is, too. And
He
you
is.
tell a lovely
We did
story.
35 takes of that
Did
scene.
you?
Did you?
Pretty
Didn't look
close
it,
on
didn't
all
look
of
it.
them.
What was the story about? He was desperate, you both were, to get some peaches for the end scene before you're finally blown to smithereens.
Well, the phrase "she's a peach" had been said by Buck, my wonderful Gene Hackman, who I've just recently worked with again, earlier on in the movie, and so we wanted to have a peach at the end of it. There seemed to be a kind of poetic irony to it.
You would bite into it,
I
and then
would
you'd
be
be
eating
killed.
a peach.
Yeah.
And there were no peaches to be had. They were nowhere. It was in the winter. So we ended up with a pear, and nobody thought anyone would notice, and indeed they didn't notice,
broke
but
his
we
heart.
knew.
Broke his
No, but
heart.
Warren, you know, Warren was one of the first producer actors in this kind of period of time. I said to him fairly recently, I said, gee, you were like the first, Warren, who produced. Now everybody produces, everybody directs, practically, you know.
Yeah.
I'm going to be directing something, and it's something that's much more done.
And yet, someone like Warren, you see, he can be a perfectionist and he can kick up a storm and ask for a peach to be flown from the far corners of the world, and nobody would say he was being difficult. Now, I bet if you'd been producing that movie and you'd said, I want a peach and I want to hear it tomorrow, it'd be front page of...
You're my kind of guy.
Well, it's true, isn't it? I mean, if a woman stands up and says that, then she's being... Well, you could use a number of invective words,
Well,
couldn't you?
exactly. You know, all would be words that one has heard before.
And is
there
that
were-
the root, do you think, of the reputation that you, in certain part, have of being a difficult actress?
Oh, gee, I don't know. I mean, because you just try, you try to be, I mean, Warren wouldn't say, at a certain point, he probably would say, I want a peach here tomorrow. I don't care what you have to do. And I would say the same thing. And they would probably call me difficult. And they would say that, boy, he really knows what he wants. You know, they'd admire him for it.
Yeah.
And that is part of I mean, if you do speak up, if you do really fight for something to be the best it can be, which means all the details, you know, I mean, God is in the details, it's said, but it's how you work, you know, I mean, you work through all those details, make the whole that you just saw. So, you know, I think that has created the
problem.
problems. I mean, and then over the years, I've had mostly delicious relationships with directors, Sidney Pollack and Sidney Lumet, and then a couple we didn't get along. So.
Well, I hope you're going to have a good time with Rebecca, because
Yes.
that's what you're making for television now, isn't it, for
right.
ITV?
Yeah, with Diana Rigg.
That's
Yeah.
right. She's Mrs. Danvers, isn't she?
is, yeah.
And you're Mrs. Van Hopper.
Yes.
But in the film, she's a fat old bag.
I know.
But she's not going to be in this.
We're going to try to do something kind of
Well,
interesting.
that's a TV thing that's being made over here by Carlton.
No,
Yeah.
But it's, you know, I wanted to work with Diana. I've loved her for so long. You know, my
lovely.
character in Network was based on Diana Rigg.
Really?
Yeah.
You see, that's another...
Patty Chayefsky told me that.
But that's another role which had you as a very independent, rather cold, bitchy woman.
Well, yeah, well, poignant as well, without really
absolutely.
a heart, a TV baby.